Well, hi everybody. It's been a while since we've seen each other here on the screen together after a newly ordained convocation at the beginning of last week and a couple of funerals at the end. It's good to be back. Good to be back to speak with you about the Word of God. Today in our gospel, we hear Jesus preaching and these people who come to him saying, "Your mother and your brothers are outside waiting for you." Now, first of all, Jesus didn't have actual brothers. He didn't have any like blood relation brothers. This probably more referred to someone like a cousin or other members of his kind of extended family. But he says to them right away, it's a very short gospel. He just says, those who hear the word of God and hear the will of God and they do it and act upon it, those are my brothers, my sisters, and my mother. What does Jesus mean by this? Because it sounds like, again, Jesus is saying something that's kind of out there, like he's rejecting his own mother and his relatives. But that's not really the case. Jesus is simply saying, well, he's saying in a profound way that there is something even deeper than family relations going on here. That those who hear the word of God and they do it, that creates an even deeper family relationship. That when we are part of Jesus's family, it's something it's even deeper than our blood relations. And when we think about what family members do for us, I can think about how my parents have always gone above and beyond to help me out. How they've always, gone and gotten something when I needed it at school. How they would always stay up in the middle of the night if I was sick, and how no matter what, they were there for me, or they still are. That this is the way that we are to be when it comes to the family of Jesus. To be totally available to him, to hear the word of God and to actually do it. That's what it looks like to be a true disciple of Jesus. And it means to even going to the extreme of whatever it takes to follow him. Today we celebrate the feast day of St. Andrew Kim and his companions. They were martyrs from Korea. And throughout this time in Korea's history during the 19th century, there was over 103 martyrs because of the faith. They heard the word of God and they couldn't help but preach it. To do the will of God is to preach the will of God, to be evangelists. And they had a great evangelical territory of Korea where no one knew Christ yet, and they also were being persecuted for that faith. But they persevered, knowing that it was more important to do the will of God than the will of man. That's our calling, brothers and sisters. That while we might not live in a land that is persecuting us outright for our faith, but to stand up for it. And to be true family members of Jesus means doing his will in our lives each and every day. And to preach the good news that should overwhelm us when we speak about it, that Jesus has come to save his people, that he loves each of us, and that God the Father calls us sons and daughters. This is a beautiful reality, one that we must preach, to be part of the family of God, to do the will of God, to act on it with our lives. May it be so today.